Sweden, once a symbol of peace and stability, is now making headlines for all the wrong reasons. 32 bombings in a single month. Let that sink in. What happened to this once thriving nation? And how did disastrous immigration policies pave the way for this chaos? Today, we break it all down. Just last month, Sweden was rocked by 32 separate bombings, most concentrated in Stockholm. Once unthinkable, this level of violence is becoming the new normal. From apartment complexes to commercial centers, no area is truly safe. But what's behind this surge? Many point to Sweden's failed immigration policies, which have allowed criminal networks to flourish in so-called parallel societies, areas where Swedish law barely holds any power. Let's be clear, this is not about demonizing all immigrants, but we can't ignore the facts. Sweden's mass migration policies have outpaced its ability to integrate new arrivals. Former Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson even admitted that Sweden has failed at integration, leading to the rise of isolated communities where crime thrives. These neighborhoods, largely populated by migrants, have become fertile ground for criminal organizations, leaving police overwhelmed and residents fearful. What's especially disturbing is the role of children in this crisis. Gangs are now recruiting minors, some as young as 12, to carry out violent crimes. Why? Because Sweden's legal system has loopholes that make it difficult to prosecute minors effectively. Many of these children come from migrant backgrounds, trapped in communities with little economic opportunity and easy access to criminal networks. Social media platforms have become hunting grounds for gang recruiters, luring in vulnerable youth with promises of wealth and power. Beyond local crime, these bombings raise serious national security concerns. Many of those involved have ties to foreign criminal organizations, some from war-torn regions where violence is a way of life. Sweden's open border policies have, in effect, imported crime and terror into its own backyard. The police have admitted they are struggling to keep up, with some even calling for military assistance to regain control in the most dangerous areas. This violence isn't just destroying lives, it's damaging Sweden's economy. Business leaders warn that instability is scaring off investors. The central bank even acknowledged that crime could hinder long-term growth. The tourism industry is also suffering, with international visitors reconsidering Sweden as a safe travel destination. Meanwhile, Swedish citizens are growing disillusioned, watching their once thriving country slip into disorder. The Sweden Democrats, a nationalist party, have surged in popularity by calling for stricter immigration controls. Meanwhile, the government is scrambling to implement new laws, tightening immigration, giving police more power, and even considering mass deportations. But is it too little? Too late? The political divide in Sweden has never been sharper, with some demanding extreme measures while others advocate for a more balanced approach. On social media, people are expressing outrage. Some demand immediate deportations. Others mourn the Sweden they once knew. The fear is palpable. Many Swedes are now questioning their government's priorities and whether their safety is truly being taken seriously. Videos of bombings and gang violence are flooding online platforms, fueling anger and demanding urgent action. But Sweden's crisis isn't happening in isolation. The European Union's migration policies have played a major role in shaping Sweden's open border stance. With EU regulations limiting how Sweden can control its influx of migrants, the country has had little flexibility to adjust policies before reaching a breaking point. Some argue that the EU's failure to enforce strict border policies has turned Sweden into a cautionary tale for the rest of Europe. What's happening in Sweden isn't just a national issue, it's a warning for other Western nations. Countries across Europe and even the US are facing similar challenges with immigration, crime, and failing integration. If Sweden, once a beacon of progress, can fall into chaos, who's next? How many more countries will ignore the warning signs before it's too late? Here's the bottom line. Sweden is at a breaking point. Failed immigration policies have turned once safe neighborhoods into war zones. While it's crucial to avoid blanket blame, ignoring the clear connection between mass migration and rising crime is just as dangerous. The question is, will Sweden wake up and reclaim control before it's too late? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.